Deep in the Bay of Bengal lies a stretch of dense tropical forest entirely cut off from the rest of the planet. In November 2018, a young American missionary named John Allen Chau paid local fishermen to take him to its shores, hoping to convert the inhabitants to Christianity. He barely made it past the shallows. Almost immediately upon arriving, he was killed by arrows, and his body was left on the sand. The people who killed him are the Sentinelese. They are one of the last truly uncontacted indigenous tribes on Earth, maintaining a hunter-gatherer lifestyle that mirrors early human history. This satellite view shows their entire world, North Sentinel Island. It is a 23-square-mile patch of land in the Andaman chain, where they are believed to have lived in continuous isolation for up to 60,000 years. They reject almost all outside contact, remaining a total black box in an era where the rest of the globe is mapped and monitored. To understand this hostility, we have to look past the violence and examine the environmental and biological forces that make their isolation a necessity. To understand how they survive, we have to look closely at their environment. This pristine coastline and dense canopy form a completely sealed, sustainable ecosystem. The tribe sustains a population of anywhere from 15 to 200 individuals, entirely without agriculture. Instead, they rely exclusively on hunting wild pigs in the dense forest, gathering and fishing the nearby reefs. They navigate these shallow waters using specific maritime engineering, carving out outrigger canoes like this one to traverse the coral reefs that surround their home. Their resourcefulness extends to modern materials that wash up on their shores, most notably from the MV Primrose, a cargo ship that ran aground on their reef in 1981. After the ship's crew was evacuated, the Sentinelese spent several months systematically stripping the stranded vessel of its iron. Even though they do not mine or smelt ore, they have mastered cold forging, pounding the scrap metal into highly effective arrowheads and tools. They are a highly capable society that actively adapts, utilizing exactly what their closed environment provides to sustain themselves. But 60,000 years of isolation comes with a severe biological cost. The Sentinelese have no natural defenses against pathogens from the outside world. A modern immune system is filled with antibodies built over generations, while a Sentinelese immune system is a blank slate. If a single virus enters this closed loop, it faces no resistance, multiplying unchecked to a total infection rate. This is not just theory. In 1880, a British naval officer named Maurice Vidal Portman led an expedition to the island. Portman and his men kidnapped an elderly Sentinelese couple and several children, transporting them back to Port Blair to study them. The exposure was immediately fatal. The elderly adults quickly contracted modern diseases and died, exposing the tribe's total lack of immunity. For the Sentinelese, a well-meaning visitor with a cough is not an inconvenience. It is a mass extinction event. Following a brief period of peaceful contact in 1991, where researchers handed the tribe coconuts in the shallows, the Indian government recognized the severity of this risk. To prevent an accidental genocide by disease, India permanently halted all anthropological expeditions to the island in 1997. They established a strict 5 nautical mile exclusion zone around the island, patrolled by the Navy and legally sealing the territory off from the rest of humanity. This militarized boundary exists to protect the Sentinelese from our microscopic pathogens. In December 2004, a massive earthquake triggered a tsunami that leveled coastlines and killed thousands across the Indian Ocean. Assuming the island's population had been wiped out by the waves, the Indian Coast Guard dispatched a helicopter to search for survivors. As the aircraft hovered over the beach, a lone Sentinelese man emerged from the forest line and fired an arrow at the helicopter to drive it away. This act of defiance proved the Sentinelese had survived a disaster that devastated the region's modern coastlines entirely on their own terms. The Sentinelese do not need our modern technology, our medicine, or our religions. Our attempts to give them these things would result in their absolute eradication. Their reputation for violence is actually a functional immune response to a world that carries pathogens they cannot physically survive. The only way to preserve this living historical record is to honor their final wish: total, absolute isolation.